For a lot of that. So will you leave here happy? Tough one.
Yeah, listen, it's a very tough place to come. Obviously, teams have noticed that over the years. They created a solid team, make it difficult for everyone, and obviously it was difficult for them as well. But I think to come back twice is a good thing, and we take the point and we move, and that's the feeling now.
Yeah, with your goal, did you know you might get joy from that near post corner? So we saw Bournemouth score one against them last week.
I think they're very solid in set pieces, and obviously they've shown it. But I think obviously when I was marked by Partey, I think he only looked at me, so it was quite easy to get from him. But anyway, you know, it's a little bit of luck that you need, a little flick from Lucho, and I was there to tap it in.
I probably should know this, but who would normally mark you when you play Arsenal? Would it normally be Saliba? Did you spot, you know, there was a little opportunity with him not playing?
I don't know. I try to just be important in every set piece that we have, and obviously try to not concede, and we did that, so that's very disappointing.
For Liverpool, was the toughest part of the game that end part of the first half? Did they get on top then?
Listen, you play here in London, they have the fans behind, they created some momentum, of course, scoring the 2-1, and you have to be ready to fight, and that was the message anyway before the game, because we will have difficult moments, tough moments, and obviously, like I said, 1 point, we take it, and we move now to the Carabao Cup.
Did you feel dominant second half, and if so, why maybe did the game change?
I think we kept the ball a little bit longer. I think that was a problem, in my opinion, the first half. We couldn't keep the ball longer than 5 times, I think. Obviously, it was a good press from them, but I think if we kept the ball longer, we could have created a little bit more momentum. And the second half, yeah, we kept it longer. Obviously, we didn't create loads of chances, but obviously we were much more dominant and winning the second balls and trying, and obviously it was a great goal.
Yeah, and psychologically, did you feel they changed a bit when Gabriel went down? It's almost like, I don't know, the anxiety creeps in for them, and there's another player injured. Did you sense that in them?
Another player injured? Well, I think they only had 2 injuries today, isn't it? So
I know you've got your own as well.
Yeah, so obviously they played a very, very strong team. And, you know, it's part of the game. We were obviously pushing, and I think deservedly scored the equaliser.
And look, I know you're not going to stand here and sort of tell me a contract's been signed or anything. You can't answer them after every game. But how are you finding sort of staying at your top level while that's going on in the background?
Listen, I'm very calm. I've mentioned it many times before. You know, let's see what happens in the end of the season. I'm enjoying my football. I'm feeling very good physically, mentally. I'm in a good place, and yeah, nothing more can be said. So I just want to keep enjoying the game, because it's a beautiful game that we play, and I play as well.
Well played.
Thank you.
Well played, good. Cheers.
Arsenal, first of all, how will Mikel Arteta feel having twice led in that game?
Probably be a little bit disappointed. I think going into the game, you know, with the players that are missing, thought Arsenal started it very well, but then when they got into a situation where they were 2-1 up, I thought we kind of played. It felt like when we went down to 10 men again, everybody backed off into our half, and like invited Liverpool on a bit. And I don't think that you can do that, especially when you've got Mo Salah not having a great game, Trent not having his greatest game, and then if you give them the capability and the time to be able to get on the ball and do their stuff, then they'll probably punish you. And I think that's what happened to us in the end. But I said at the start, I'd probably take a draw, the team we can put out there, and I'd probably take that now.
Big smile there from Arne Slot, because when you're twice behind at the Emirates, to take something from it is a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The fact that they didn't lose is the most important thing. I didn't think Liverpool were at their vintage best today, but they probably did enough in the second half to get something out of the game. I still thought they moved the ball too slowly, actually, today, when they could have got at Arsenal a little bit more. But away to Arsenal, you know, a tough week. Chelsea, then a midweek away game in Germany, and then here at the Emirates. I think they'll be fairly happy with that now.
Should there have been a winner, or is that about right?
No, I think it was a fair result. I think when you weigh it up for both teams, Arsenal, who they were missing, who then had to go off injured, and Liverpool, I didn't think played that well, but did well to get back into the game. Arsenal, when they went 2-1 up, particularly more second half, they sort of sat back. I agree with the lads. I don't think either team did enough to win the game, and a draw was certainly a fair result.
OK, so that is your Premier League weekend complete after a dramatic day today as well, following on from the games that started, of course, on Friday. Nottingham Forest, actually, the only team to win away from home this weekend. That was in the East Midlands derby at Leicester. Then that dramatic late win for Brentford and a narrow one for Manchester City on Saturday. Earlier today, Chelsea back to winning ways, beating Newcastle by 2-1. Newcastle now 5 without a win in the Premier League. Crystal Palace off and running at the 9th attempt. They've won for the first time this season, beating Spurs 1-0. Manchester United beaten for the 4th time already this season with a very late controversial West Ham penalty at the London Stadium, and twice behind, but Liverpool take a point with a 2-2 draw away at Arsenal. So as I say, Crystal Palace got their first win of the season at the bottom, and it lifted them out of the drop zone. So they're now 2 clear of the bottom 3, Ipswich, Wolves and Southampton, who are the 3 clubs yet to record a victory this season. Manchester United stay on 11 points in 14th position. So at the top, Manchester City stay there. It is the champions by a point from Liverpool, and they are 4 clear of Arsenal and Aston Villa, locked on 18 points. As I say, Chelsea up to 5th on 17. Yes, another 4 goals today in the second highest scoring Premier League fixture over the years. Arsenal twice leading 2-2. It finished. All the reaction from both dressing rooms, incidentally, on the way. But let's look at the way Arsenal took the lead with Bukayo Saka, because you mentioned the importance of him before the game. 4 in 3 he's got against Liverpool now. Yeah, well, you look at the amount of time that Ben White's got with Saka, the amount of space that's in behind him, you'd have to worry for Andy Robertson in this situation. I thought we got too tight there, knowing that Saka would want to come back on his left foot, even though we know he can go both ways. But when you look at the amount of space there is, I'm very surprised Liverpool gave Ben White that much time. But then is Robertson getting that tight there? But like, he's done brilliantly, because you can't stop him from coming inside there. And he's put us in the lead, which we needed. He's brilliant. He's brilliant again. Robertson a torrid first half, actually.
Yeah, he did. Andy Robertson had a poor game, really, and Bukayo Saka was the reason for it. It was a lovely first goal, and it came out of nothing. It was far too easy to concede. When you're away from home, you should be difficult to break down, and you know, a simple 50-yard ball over the top, culminating in a wonderful goal for Saka, put Liverpool down straight away. And it shows you, though, that his form is excellent, isn't it, Bukayo Saka? He's a big player now for Arsenal, really important player at such a young age. Yeah, and there you go, 50 Premier League goals, and you can see some of the names he's with in terms of the youngest to it. And from a wide player coming into the team, that's impressive figures at 16.
He's an excellent player. I love his attitude. I think he's missed the last 2 games before today, and that's the first time in 5 years that he's missed back-to-back games, which, when you consider who he is and how many times he gets kicked, you can't help but just like his attitude and like everything about him. Got great ability, and it was a great goal. And that first half in particular showed how much he means to the Arsenal team, and that they're not quite the same without him. But that's understandable, because he's got that much ability.
And he is so durable, isn't he, as Alan says? That's some record, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. When you consider he's been in the side since he's, just 17, and he's been not only for Arsenal, but England as well, and playing at a high standard. This is why I find it's really unfair on him when people are constantly comparing him to other people and other players who come along, and they've been doing their stuff for like 18 months, and he's been doing it for coming on 5 years now. And he's been consistent with what he's doing. And I'm just pleased that he can come into a game like this and at levels like he has, and just continue to show what he's capable of doing consistently.
As you say, Liverpool weren't at their very best today, but they managed goals in both halves. And the first one was well worked from a set play from their point.
Yeah, it was. Trent Alexander-Arnold, nice whip ball in. I mean, it's Luis Diaz, really. His movements is... You see he's causing chaos on the touchline with Raya, and then the fact that he darts in front of Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has to be more aware. He cannot allow him to get in there. And as soon as he gets a flick onto it, it's always going to cause chaos. And Van Dijk was the one who was alive to it, closely marked by Partey. And it's a goal from nothing, really, but the set pieces really count in these big games, don't they? Small margins, and any advantage you can take care of, and that was the same there today.
Yeah, great ball in, great movement, but from a defensive point of view, we talk about Arsenal, how sort of good they are at attacking set pieces. that will be something they'll look back on with regret. I mean, particularly Kai Havertz, because he just didn't open his body up. He allowed Diaz to get in front of him. If you're on the half turn and then he doesn't get in front of you, block him, you stop him. Yeah. That's part of your job at that near post. Do not let any opposition player in front of you, because that's what will happen.
Yeah. It's a strange one, because like the way he starts just in front of the near post. So even more, you'd think, I'm going to make sure my arms, get my arm somewhere out. You know, it's not something that I had to do, but I've seen people do it on that near post. You get your arm and you're off. So as if somebody does, ease them out of the way. Because when you look at the flight it came in on that, all he needed was step out another yard. And he probably headed that away. So, like you say, I think Al's right. You know, you probably look back at that one and you think, again, you know, that could have been avoided. And that's the margins.
And as Alan says, we know how dangerous they are from attacking set plays, and Declan Rice's deliveries today were, particularly in that first half, were a big part of it, weren't they?
Yes, you know, look, because when you look at the goal, what Moreno scores, it's being put into such a dangerous area. It's begging you to just go and head it. You don't have to do anything with it. You just have to get your head on it, and thankfully for us, Moreno did that. But like the ball makes this goal. I think Saka's the same. His deliveries are so good, but Declan's delivery today was absolutely bang on. It's class.
Is that a dream from attacking point of view, that type of ball?
Yeah, because you just got to make your connection. Everything's on it, the pace is on it, the whip is on it. You've just got to you've got to time your run, obviously, try and stay on side, and then just get the connection on it, because the pace is there, and that will take care of the rest of it if you get it on target. Great ball, fantastic header. Yeah,
Mikel Moreno's first Arsenal goal that put them 2-1 in front. Liverpool, no Arsenal strength, as we mentioned, 27 from set plays since the start of last season, 4 more than any other team. But
as I said,
it's one thing knowing it's another thing.
Well, they can't stop it, can they? They conceded the goal at Anfield last year. I remember early on in the game, I think it was Gabriel who scored from a set piece, and they got caught again today. Unfortunately, they did. Was he slightly offside? No, he wasn't. Virgil van Dijk's left foot was playing him onside. But they have numerous set-piece routines, don't they, that they go through. That was a different one there, where they get inside the players, starting an offside position. But it causes chaos. And the fact that they're getting those rewards, it's incredibly important for them.
It's the delivery in it. It's the delivery.
Delivery's brilliant, yeah.
When you've got someone who was as good as like Arsenal have, with Saka one side delivering and Rice from another side, and when you've also got players who are desperate to get on the end of it, and also players who have got great movement, it's all right saying, well, we know what you do. It's another thing actually stopping it, because there's so many things have to be right in the set piece for it to be the perfect one, like that. The ball, the movement, the blocking, the connection, all of these things. And Arsenal, as we know, are magnificent at them.
Also, we know how brilliant Trent Alexander-Arnold distribution is. We didn't see it that often today, but we did for the all-important equaliser, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was a bit like the Ben White Saka movement in the first half. Lots of time and space for Trent to get on the ball and lift his head up. And more importantly, as Al was saying, good movement. Salah's gone, Nunez has gone. Salah may have been offside, so thankfully Darwin Nunez took over. And then he puts it on the plate for Mo Salah. It was a really nice ball by Nunez. Very unselfish run.
The movement
it back.
Salah's incredible.
It is. You know, no one's going to stop him there. I thought that was pretty good what he done, because you could see he's just overrun it. He's had to adjust his feet very quickly, Darwin Nunez, to get that to him. But you know, he's done very well. But like, obviously, I was gutted to see this, because even with the moving initially, with the ball through to Martinelli, I would have preferred him in the moment and where Arsenal were playing, to kind of get that ball and go out to the left side, rather than try to take the 2 players on and maybe lose it situation. So again, you look back and you think, this if, but we got punished.
And when Liverpool making those substitutions, a few people thought Diaz was having a good game. That's the reason you never take Mo Salah off, isn't it?
No,
he hadn't hardly mentioned his name today.
No, he didn't. He didn't touch the ball a lot. He wasn't involved as he normally would like to be, or want to be. But you know, whilst he's on the pitch, you're always going to have an opportunity, and you're absolutely right. Why would you take your best goal scorer off? Because he can produce something like that. His movement was just incredible. To go down the line, to leave it to Nunez, and then to get himself into the position where he's just hoping and praying that Darwin Nunez actually finds it with the pass. Yes. Because that was the one worry, because he was off balance a bit, Nunez, but he actually did. It was a great ball, and it was crying out to be put in the back.
Yeah, and he doesn't play it in front of Ben White, does he? You know, he does hold it up. And maybe that little stumble gets Ben White moving as well. because in the end, Ben White just gets caught. Gets caught behind with the ball itself, and Mo Salah cannot miss from that type of range.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 6 for the season, and Arsenal sick of the sight of him because only Man United he's scored more goals against in his career than Arsenal. He's into double figures.
Brilliant for him.
You didn't say that before. You
Well done to Mo. Well done, Mo.
Well done, Mo.
Yeah.
You were calling them no Mo. He was calling them no Mo at half time. And then suddenly,
No Salah.
Bro Salah. Well, that's what he does. Shuts you up, and he shut me up.
I'm for the importance of Bukayo Saka being back in the Arsenal side, and he's back with a bang to give them.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's given Andy Robertson a torrid time. I remember in his early days, Andy Robertson was very good on him, but obviously he's stronger, he's quicker, he's more experienced, and right from the off, obviously him and Ben White have got a great relationship. You know, obviously their eyes must have met, and then, you know, the ball, too much time, no one's closing Ben White down, and this is a problem for him. Once this goes behind, you know he wants to come back inside. I think Andy's too tight. He's overshot it, you know, and Bukayo Saka, you know he wants to come back in on that left foot, but, you know, I think the ball from Ben White's fantastic. But here, I think that Andy Robertson's got to do it. He's got too tight there. There's not much he could do, but I think he can't make it as easy as this. And, you know, bam, it's a perfect start. It's a perfect start.
Yeah, they've been distinctly second best, Liverpool. I've actually been a little disappointed in them. Some of the players haven't got involved in the game. I thought Diaz should do more against Partey. Mo Salah's hardly had a kick of the ball. You know, the midfielders are a little tiny bit passive. They've gone backwards a lot. I mean, this is all because of the Arsenal pressure, of course. But they've been... Liverpool have been second best today in that first half. They need an improvement in the second half.
And as you can see, in terms of the youngest of 50 Premier League goals, Bukayo Saka is in very good company there, with some of those names. Robbie Fowler holding the record by 4 days. I should point out, Alan played in the old First Division before the Premier League came up, before he started growling at me where you were.
I wasn't saying a word.
That's right.
Football didn't exist, you see.
What have you made of it?
I think Arsenal have been the better team. They deserve to be in front. They've certainly looked more threatening in forward positions. And with Saka, I mean, we talked of his importance before the game. That 45 minutes has just highlighted how good he is, if anyone didn't know. Right, he's correct. He's given Andy Robertson a horrible time. Every time he's got the ball, you can just hear the excitement. You can feel his confidence and his belief that he's got in it. He knows he's got Andy Robertson on toast.
They did get level through a set piece, a well-worked set piece from Liverpool's point of view.
Yes, it was, just a simple ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold, in a great movement from Diaz, poor from Havertz. You know, Havertz's job is marshalling that front post. You do not let anybody get in front of you. And Diaz waltzes in there actually really, really easily, gets a nice flick on, and it's just instinct, isn't it? Van Dijk in front of Partey just to get diverted goal bounds.
I think when you look at that one, I think Kai will be very disappointed with that, because when you look how it's not coming high, it's coming with good pace, but if he steps forward, one step forward, he probably doesn't get in front of him, Diaz, but Diaz has to get credit for making the move and getting the touch just when he needed to.
You said Mikel Moreno needed to give you something today.
Yeah.
He has. He's given you his first goal for the club.
Yeah, I thought he was unlucky earlier on. He got one. He got his legs mixed up with the first one. But this ball in from Declan is, you know, it's just go and put your head on that, really. You know, if you look at it, he's literally, all he's doing is just stretching out because the ball is so perfect. You know what I mean? He's got himself in a position. I always worry when they come from an offside position, but, you know, obviously why they went for 2 minutes to look at it. But at the same time, the ball is so good, he's literally called him on to head that. So it's a brilliant goal, and they deserve that, Steve.
Superb. I mean, it's just crying out for someone to go and get on the end of it. He's not trying to pick him out specifically, he's just putting it into such a dangerous area where he's saying to someone, get on the end of it. And it was an incredible ball and a great header. Yeah,
27th set play goal for Arsenal since the start of last season. Right, what will Arne Slot be saying now? What do you want to see from Liverpool in this second half?
They need to be quicker. They need to move the ball quicker. They have to be more positive. As I said, I thought they went backwards a lot of the time today. They took the easy pass. They didn't want to run forward. They didn't want to pass the ball forward in case they lost it. And they need the bigger players to step it. I think Szoboszlai will come on soon enough if he's not coming on already. I think there'll be changes if Liverpool don't pick it up, because they are distinctly second best, as I said. Arsenal are the better team, and they look the more progressive team.
Got to get their forward players into the game. They've not really had a kick either.
No.
Three of them,
yeah.
Diaz did well for the corner when he flicks it on, but other than that, they've not had anyone run at the defender, not got anyone go past defenders. They've not really asked a question of their marker yet.
Well, listen, Liverpool were in the title race, and I think Liverpool were top of the league. I think we're probably 6 or 7 games to go. There's still a long way to go to see if Liverpool are in that position. So I wouldn't say they're better, I'd say they're different. They're certainly better defensively when you look at the numbers sort of, this season. I think Liverpool came here twice last year, once in the FA Cup. Won here, I think, 2-0, but got absolutely battered in the first half. Arsenal should have won the game. Arsenal beat them, I think, in the league 3-1. So, created a lot of chances. That wasn't the sort of the game that we watched today. That's probably something a little bit around Arsenal, where they're going. We maybe get to that shortly. But from Liverpool's point of view, the big change this season is defensively. They look a solid unit. Well, I think this season they've been the best defensively in the Premier League, and that's a big difference from what we saw last season.
Do you think being better defensively, Roy, is more likely to take you to the big prizes?
Yeah, of course. Well, you have to defend properly, and with people like Salah, you've always got a chance of scoring goals. And there's definitely a calmness to Liverpool, even. And obviously, that comes from the manager. He speaks very well. And even when they were 2-1 down today, they didn't seem to panic. Obviously, a lot of belief, and that would come from confidence of winning football matches. I know we'll argue all day about, obviously, have they been really tested yet, but they've turned up. But the one real big disappointment, I suppose, the Forest game, when they got beaten at home, which we know can happen if you're not at your best. But generally speaking, they look a strong, efficient team. You got world-class players like Salah, you have a chance of winning football matches. And remember, they were missing their goalkeeper. Keller's done one in the last month or two, so they've had their 1 or 2 setbacks as well with injuries themselves. We've been discussing Arsenal for last week about all their problems, but Arsenal had 1 or 2 players missing. I mean, Liverpool had 1 or 2 players missing, but they've turned up today. And again, the manager said that a couple of weeks ago, when they keep turning up. That gives you a chance of winning football matches.
I think Alex Ferguson always says you can see the personality of a manager in his team. So we saw that for 7 years with Klopp. Klopp is just this big, huge personality, energetic, and that was the team. When you see Arne Slot interviewed, it's just calm, reserved, doesn't get sort of too carried away, whether you're winning or losing. And as Roy just said, that you see it on the pitch. It's a lot more controlled, Liverpool, so it's not end-to-end. They're not having to deal with counter-attacks as much. And that's why they're better defensively. I don't think it's necessarily that he's a defensive manager or he's brought in better... Are you all right there?
Sorry, yeah.
I don't want to turn you on, really.
I just wanted to ask yourself, actually, do you feel like they miss that Klopp intensity at times when they really want to go for the game? Because, like I was saying, at times they just lack that intensity. Do you think, like you say, with the calmness of Klopp?
Every manager has to balance between the defence and attack. So that intensity that we're talking about, Jurgen Klopp, might maybe create more chances and lift the crowd more at Anfield. But what you lose is maybe going the other way. This is maybe not as much going the other way, pressing really high, winning the ball back, lifting the crowd, all the big atmosphere. But you're better defensively. That's what it's about, trying to get the balance.
Do you think, Theo, that dressing rooms respond in a different way to those different kind of emotive managers, whether it is the sort of the tub thumping of Jurgen Klopp or the quiet calmness of Arne Slot?
Yeah, I've got to agree. The teams are a reflection of managers at times, and we're seeing a different side of Mikel Arteta in this moment in time, from an Arsenal perspective, where we want to keep hold of what we've got and be defensive-minded. And I'm just worried that we're going to lose that free-flowing sort of football that Arsenal have known for doing from the Arsene Wenger eras. And, when I was playing as well, don't go away from what you're good at. And what Arsenal are good at times is dominating higher up the field. And I just don't want them to get into habits of holding on to things when they can put teams to the sword, particularly when the likes of Liverpool are challenging, because they are definitely here to stay.
I don't think they're getting into bad habits. I think that's an instruction for the manager. This has been going on now, I would say, for about 12 months. What?
We're going to come to that in a minute.
Come on.
Because I want to hear from Mikel Arteta,
Sorry.
having been tested for the first time today.
Right.